it going? It is Wednesday, the 14th of November 2018, and you're watching KopTalk.tv. Alright, do I need my disguise on, guys? Hey, look, where the fucking hell has he gone? Where's he gone? No? Am I alright? Am I alright? I like me Craig glasses, mate. I do. I'll just tilt that down a little bit. Oh, can you see my t-shirt? That's my current mood today. Alright. Yeah, Wednesday the 14th of November 2018. How's it going, guys? Alright, yeah? What can I talk to you about today? I'll tell you what I can tell you. I've had the decorators in, they've done my lounge. If you follow me on Instagram, Duncan Oldham, you can see what it looks like. I've gone from a ready colour to, don't tell anyone, but it's a very pale blue. Have a look and let me know what you think. And they're doing this recording room as well, this office, if you like, in due course. I think this wall's too, you know what I mean? I need to darken it a bit, guys. You know, when I've got all these lights on in here, it makes it too bright. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna change it a bit, darken it a bit. Maybe a very, very like a coffee colour or something like that. But got to be careful with the chair. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'll work it out. And no doubt some of you fuckers will moan about it anyway. So that's all really. I ain't got much to tell you on that front. You know what I'm saying? So what do you want to talk about? I'll tell you what we could talk about. We could talk about Daniel Sturridge, all right? Daniel Sturridge and this betting carry-on. Now, it sounds like some serious business, guys, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Now, Daniel has come out and said, hasn't he, or there's a statement saying that he's never bet on the football and stuff like that, right? He has never bet on football. And there was somebody placed a bet on Daniel Sturridge joining Inter Milan on loan in January. I think it was on loan. Now, it definitely was to do with him going to Inter Milan in January, and it was a 5-figure sum. A guy from a modest background. I think they described him as a blue-collar worker, was it, or something like that? Let me have a look for you guys. Wrong one. There it is. A blue-collar worker based in the Midlands placed a 5-figure bet on Sturridge, intending to join Inter Milan on loan during last January's transfer window, but days later he joined West Brom. So that's someone fucking furious right there. So we obviously know there's one aggrieved party involved. Given the spectacular failure of the bet, there is no suggestion that Sturridge was involved, but the transaction startled bosses at a leading bookmaker who suspected the gambler might have obtained what he believed was insider information. Now then, then there were several attempts to, by multiple people, I believe, that tried to place bets of up to £5 grand on him joining West Brom. So something's going on, you know what I'm saying, guys? Something's fucking going on. Now, I've got to be honest, when it comes to betting on football transfers, I have done it over years based on information provided to me from people associated to those kind of activities, if you like. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't happen very rarely that anyone says this is definitely going to happen. It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, when you hear that nailed on and it's in the bag, and it's like, nah. I'm very, very reluctant to go with them things, because I know that transfers can die within seconds, right? At the last, you know, the last hour, the 11th hour. You've only got to look at our activity in the summer. I've got a photo being sent through to me there. All right, okay, I'll have a look at that in a minute. It's only my daughter. What was I going to say? Right, so they throw me off. So I know that deals can fall through. You know, think of the Fekir deal. Think of the Fekir deal. You know what I'm saying? He's there, all these Liverpool games. Still, even at that point, would you have put money on? Would you? Too fucking right, you would have put money on. So it just shows you how things can change. Now then, I've got to stop saying now then. When it comes to football transfers like that, I have placed money on transfers happening involving Liverpool players, in and out. You know, players involving. I've got to be specific here. It can't be Liverpool players moving in, can it? So you know what I'm saying. On transfers to do with Liverpool Football Club, and I have a 100% success rate with that. All right. So the only time, there was one time when one didn't go through, and it was because I can't remember if I backed it or not, but it was to do with Real Madrid, and I can't remember if it was. Might have been to do with Beckham or Michael Owen. I can't remember. It's decades ago. But the deal was put off, I do believe, and it did eventually take place. But you know, like the bookmakers usually have like a period where you've got to say it will happen before the close of the August window or something like that, or the January window. So, like I said, done all right with it, but it's not something that happens very often. And bookmakers are very suspicious. You know, if you contact a bookmaker and say, I want to put £5,000 on a deal happening, they're not going to take it, guys. The majority of them are not going to take it, and it's going, it's going to flag up. And most of the time, they'll maybe let you have 25 quid or something like that. So it's very, very suspicious activity that is monitored. Now, years ago, I used to run, or own, should I say, around a dozen, 10 to a dozen professional racing greyhounds, right? Some of you may remember I had the boot room boy, boot room girl, faster than Owen, stuff like that, you know, named after the the boot room sort of thing. It was like that was the prefix that I went with, and they used to run up at Newcastle, and that industry, like the Friday nights, the Saturday nights, there is some play on what you can do. You know, you can slow a dog down, for example. You can hold a dog back, and then on the night of you want to let it go, where in theory it should perform better, that does take place. And the bookmakers are fully aware of that. You know, they're aware of that at the racetracks, and they're aware of it nationwide. All right, and a bit of a blind eye's turned to it really on a weekend, on an evening, and stuff like that. Because it's kind of in-house, and the bookies keep an eye on who the owners are and who the friends are, and if they're about to put bets on. So if I was to go down, say with what we used to do, say there'd be 4 bookmakers in a line, stood there, and they all knew you by your name and that. All 4 of you, say you had 3 mates and you, because there'd be 4 bookmakers, you'd give 100 to each one, right? And yourself had 100, yeah. And you all had to make sure you step forward at the exact same time. So all 4 arms go out at the same time to 4 different bookmakers. That's because if you do it first, that bookmaker knows if I put 100 on my dog that I think it's going to win, right? So he will immediately scrub the odds, which means the other 3 will copy him. So that's the idea of getting it all on immediately. Now, there is a reason I'm telling you this. So on a daytime, when you go into a bookmaker's in the UK, for example, you'll see the monitors of the greyhounds. That's called bags racing, or it was. I haven't been involved with it for years. And if there's even a whiff of anything like that going on, there's serious business. There's inquiries and everything. And if you train, your trainer would never hold a dog back or let a dog go on that, because the bookmakers are they're switched on. They know when something's adrift. So it tends to happen in an evening, all right, at the private things that's not televised. Get it? Yeah. So, but if you ever fancied your dog, on a race during the day that was televised or something, there was times when I'd say to my mates, like, I'd say, well, I think she's got a good chance today, not because it was maybe there was any influence, because it's the daytime, remember, so it's going to be on in the bookies. It'd be like, no, I think it's got a good chance against what it's up against today. So I'm going to put 40 quid on, 50 quid or something like that. So as soon as, if I said that, my mate would then go into, maybe a bookies in Newcastle, and maybe one in York, and maybe one in London or something. And if the bookmakers notice a pattern, right, they immediately bring the odds down. Do you know what I mean? And they know you as well. So if I was to go in my local bookmakers and they go, that's the owner, because they have real professional people involved in protecting their losses. It's much deeper than you think. They're on the phone, head office. He's been in, he's done this, and then that whole thing is transmitted around the country. So these bookmakers, and they're all connected into each other as well. And it is the game. The bookmakers will screw you, but you are not allowed to screw them. And the same is with football betting. If you're involved in putting money on transfer deals, that is like, if you think that maybe a player's going to join, Manchester United from Arsenal or something, you might go, I'll have a daft fiver on a tenner on it, 20 quid. They're not going to be bothered by that. But when you step up and go, I want to put 1,000 on, or 5,000 or 10,000, that's alarm bells. What kind of a fucking idiot does that? So the idea is to spread the cost of that. So if you want to put £1,000 on a player making a football transfer, you would of course get people or friends involved in it to do it all at the same time for smaller amounts. So this what's gone off here is very suspicious, to say the least. Very suspicious. It doesn't imply Daniel is involved in it. That's up to them to work out. And let's hope he isn't, because I think Klopp would be furious if that was the case. But the reality is here that you've got to look at the facts. You've got to look at the facts, right? We can't even say facts, can we? We've got to look at the allegations. The allegations is that someone is extremely angry because they put a 5-figure bet on Sturridge going to Inter Milan. Now, you do not do that, right, unless you are nailed on certain. So that, therefore, you don't do that from a hunch. You know someone at one of the clubs, for sure. You know someone at one of the clubs. Or you know a player or an agent or someone. You know that it is happening, right? So Daniel Sturridge must have been very close to that deal happening for that to have taken place. Now, the deal didn't proceed. Obviously, proceed. Did you notice how posh I went then? The deal didn't proceed. So someone, somewhere, is angry. So that could be a grudge in there somewhere, all right? So someone might have said, you know what? Fuck you, I'm spilling the beans. Possibly. But the other thing is, of course, that there were multiple people that then tried to place money on Sturridge going to West Brom. And that sounds like it's the one that's being flagged up. So I don't know what you think about it, or I don't know if you guys can add any more to it. You know, I haven't really followed it until today. You know, I just had a good mooch around and I saw it come out the other night or whatever, and I was like, ah, fuck that, you know. One thing's for sure, you know, we need to sort out his future. You know, what is going to happen with Daniel? Is he going to be at Liverpool next year? Do we want him at Liverpool next year? He's out of contract soon, I believe. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure he's out of contract this summer, isn't he? And you know, he is on big money. You know, so he's not going to get a deal like that at Liverpool if he stays. That is for sure. But it's whether or not Liverpool want to do without him. Now, obviously, he started the season well. And he got into it. And it was nice to see him finally, you know, showing a bit of form, really, after what I would describe as a very frustrating period. He's not a player that you would ever base the future around, is he? Do you know what I'm saying, guys? He's not really a player like that, is he? So I've always been of the mentality that I think he needs to go. But, you know, I would love to keep Daniel Sturridge if he could stay fit. Simple as that. As nearly as fit as me. You know what I mean? Hey, guys, I've lost over 5 stone now. 5 stone since May. Can you believe it? Yeah, I'm still a fat cunt. But I'm getting there. You know what I mean? So I'm still on target. And I feel really good. I feel really good. Physically at the moment anyway. Maybe not mentally. But physically. So that's it. I can't really tell you much more about the Daniel Sturridge thing. Nobody, I think he's got, when's he got? He's got until 6 p.m. on Tuesday, next Tuesday, to respond to the charge. And it'll be interesting to see what that response is. I would imagine that it's very, very difficult to prove wrongdoing in that. Because these players aren't going to be stupid, are they? They're not going to be stupid. But I imagine it's very difficult to prove it unless there is a financial transaction that you can definitely be linked to, i.e. your bank account, your debit card, your bookmaking account or whatever. But yeah. It's funny, you know, because I had a couple of bets knocked back. I can't remember who by. I don't know if it was Bet Victor, maybe. Or Bet365, maybe Bet Victor, I can't remember. I had a couple of bets knocked back a couple of years ago. I think it may have been around the time that it was to do with Klopp becoming manager. I think it might have been that. And, you know, it just makes you wonder if they know that you know, what sort of thing you're involved with and stuff like that. Because they were decent bets, like. But like I say, they watch everything, they track everything. And I don't believe Daniel would be as stupid as to I just can't see it. But then they wouldn't charge him, would they, if they didn't have something which they think is enough to prove, I think, unless they're just calling his bluff, basically. So, I welcome your thoughts on this one, guys. I know it's not a very interesting topic, really, but it is the international break again. It's the international break again. Can you believe it? Oh, I don't know even. Don't get me set off on that international break again. Can't be doing with that. I'm going over to dkb.tv now. I'm going over there to record a video about the latest suggestions about FSG, willing to sell the club and all that. For the benefit of you guys here on KopTalk.tv that don't support me over there, alright, KopTalk members, and don't support me. I'll give I'll just say to you that nothing's changed in my opinion of something that I've been saying for a long time, in that the club is available. They would willingly sell the club if someone came in and offered the valuation. And to be honest, guys, I can say the same about my property here. All right, my property has a valuation, which I have an idea in my head of how much I would accept to sell my villa here, right? And it's a very big property, right? Very, very big. And I don't need it. It's too big for me. So I'd be happy to go into, like a finca or a bungalow. I'm getting old now, guys, you know what I'm saying? But this house is ridiculously massive, and I don't have the kids visiting me anymore because they're adults now, 25 and 18. My mum's not around anymore, as you know, so I don't need this house. But I wouldn't just fucking give it away, to some mug. If someone came and offered me £5 less than what I thought it was worth, I wouldn't fucking take it. 500, I wouldn't even. So the point I'm trying to make is that I have a valuation of this property. I've spoke to an estate agent that's officially, it's on the market, my house. But I am not actively looking to sell it. Does that make sense? So in other words, I've said to someone, look, if someone comes along with X, I would consider it. I would review my options at that time. I don't want a board up outside, saying this property is for sale. That would apply to Liverpool Football Club. I have merely spoken to an agent and said that this property is available at the right price, which I believe FSG have done through their network, if you like. And if someone steps up and offers me, the valuation that would be acceptable to me, without trying to lower or negotiate the price, then I would probably accept it, because I'm in the mood for a change and something different, and I would look at it and think I've done all right. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's very much along the lines of FSG. So I'm going to be talking about a little bit more depth in there, over there, but it was more along the lines of my opinion hasn't changed, in that these aren't new revelations to me, if you like. I mean, the figure changes a little bit each time, doesn't it? But it's just that, I think that they would sell. So the minute they come out and deny it is, to me, is confirmation that they are looking at doing that. Because why do you even respond to speculation if it's idle speculation? People chat shit about me, or I've done for years, or used to do, or whatever. I'm not really sure now. They leave me alone a bit these days. And why would you even respond to it? Sometimes you may be saying, maybe being a bit defensive, so what was the fucking point? And Liverpool Football Club traditionally over the years would never respond to speculation surrounding the club. So FSG will do what they want. The next question, of course, would be, would you want them to sell the club? And most people at the moment are probably quite content with how things are going, bearing in mind, though, that we haven't, really got any silverware. But this is topics for another day. This video is more about Daniel Sturridge. Like I say, I'm going to go and do a video over at dkb.tv about this. But I just wanted to say to you guys that I think that my opinion basically hasn't changed as to where they are on that situation. Okay, right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll be back here tomorrow. I am on the radio tomorrow evening if you want to listen in. 5 p.m. UK time till 7 p.m. UK time. All you need is the Tune In radio app. You can put that on your Apple iPhone or your Android or whatever. It's free. Just search Radio 1 Benidorm, and I'll be on there from 5 p.m. UK. It's the Three Pundits Offside show on a Thursday evening. Nothing whatsoever to do with sport. That's our Saturday show, which goes out on FM radio. But the FM radio show tomorrow night on Thursday evenings, is more of a current affairs kind of thing. So if you want to tune in, listen to me putting the world to rights and trying to wind up the other two, join me tomorrow night at 5 p.m. UK time. Okay. You can, of course, at me during the show if you're on Twitter, at Duncan Oldham. That's it, guys. So I'll crack on. Actually, there's one more thing I should say to you is that KopTalk is going through a period of transition at the moment. In that, you know, for a long time I've been saying to you, I don't know what I want to do. I want to change things a bit and all that. I do know what I want to do now, and I've accepted that I need a bit of help, because when I started KopTalk in my 20s, back in the 1990s, you only had to put news articles on. Today you put news articles on the free site, on the members website, you've got forums, members forums, 2 Facebook groups, a Facebook page for KopTalk TV, DKB TV, the podcast, there's videos, there's DKB.TV, there's fucking KopTalk TV, there's everything, Twitter, numerous accounts, and I find it very difficult to deal with it all on my own. So I finally and reluctantly accepted that I need a bit of help with that. Alright, so over the coming months things will be changing a little bit, but I'm your content man, so everything, you probably won't even notice a change really, it's probably more behind the scenes, but there is a lot of improvements and things that I want to do. But of course you have to remember that, you know, I've done it for 20 years, so I'm not like someone starting out that's got ambition and aims or anything like that. You know, KopTalk's about community, no targets, no spreadsheets. It's only operated in a business in the sense of financial and legal obligation. To me, it's still the same website that I started in a bedroom back in my 20s. Do you know what I mean? So it's still my love, my baby, with a bit more responsibility. But yeah, so I just thought I'd tell you about that. So I know what I'm doing. KopTalk TV is going to stay. DKB.TV is going to stay. The member, everything's staying, but I'm just getting a little bit more organised with it all. All right, and you know that I'm shit for organisation. Terrible. I'm actually pretty good with it, but it's just like I just struggle. I struggle with time. I've been writing a book about 15 fucking years. I need to get that done as well. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. So with a bit of help, you know, I should be all right. All right, kids, I'm off. You take care, and yeah, I'll speak to you tomorrow. I will definitely be back tomorrow, right? Okay. I will definitely be here tomorrow, because I'm going to be in this particular office all day tomorrow, whereas I've been in my other office this week so far. So I will be here tomorrow, and we'll have a natter about other things. But I must go and update the guys at DKB.TV now, because they're very patient, they're very supportive, and I really need to go and look after them. All right, guys, I'll speak soon. All right.